Hello, everybody. It is Monday, June 9th, Zach Hyman's birthday in the United States and Canada. Someone's Mr. 33 years young. And this is a show called What Chaos, presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code What Chaos. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks. Run your game in Boston, Massachusetts. My name is David Bean. I sit beside Pete Blackburn. And across the room is Sean DePaz. We're going to try a little thing where we throw it around. So... Hi, Pete. How was your weekend?
Hi, David. It was okay. Not a lot of hockey. Did some other stuff. Crashed out over MLB The Show. Tried out a few new TV shows. Altogether, a decent weekend. Sean, how was your weekend?
It's pretty good. I went to a Blue Sox game yesterday.
What?
Finally went out to Polar Park. That stadium rocks.
Can we get a Polar Park grade?
Yeah.
A. It rocks.
A?
It's... As they reminded you multiple times during the game, rated the best ballpark in AAA baseball by USA Today, which I would fucking hope it is because it's the newest. But it was a pretty nice ballpark. Sox won. Worcester, don't have anything to say about, I guess. But it was a good weekend otherwise.
Didn't we compare Worcester to like? You said Albany was the Worcester.
Oh yeah, yes. Albany is like Worcester.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's the heart of the Commonwealth.
So did you see Roman Anthony hit that 500?
No, I went. Okay. That was Saturday. Okay. I went on Sunday. DJ, how was your weekend?
It was a great weekend. I had a great weekend. I did not watch hockey. I watched both National Treasure movies, though. I had never seen those before. And I like, when I do most things, I think, would Sean like this? How would Sean's like one of the more unique people I know. How would he do with this thing? So I watched National Treasure 1 and National Treasure 2 the whole while, not shutting up about how I bet Sean absolutely loves this. Came in this morning, checked with you, and you said...
It rocks. I love that shit.
It's just like people looking for treasure and talking about old American history.
Yeah. And like I said, I was younger when I watched the movie, so I didn't get distracted by all the fakeness of it. It was cool. I liked it.
Okay. Great job throwing it around, everybody. A+. Pete, could you tell the folks on the show today?
Today on the show, we will be talking about the Stanley Cup Final. Wouldn't you believe it? It's heating up. That's because it's going to Florida. You didn't think I'd get that one?
I was really hoping you would get that one.
The Stanley Cup Final is heating up because it went to Florida. Katie Nolan's going to join the show. We're going to have a discussion about Brad Marchand, and it's going to be coming from a bunch of different angles. We're going to approach it from Bruins fans' perspective, Sean's perspective, and that's about it. So we'll talk about that. It's going to be great. And then we're going to talk about the question everybody's asking. Who is Brady Martin? There's a big NHL Combine weekend. A lot of Brady Martin chatter, a lot of chatter chat.
Yeah.
What's the chatter chat about?
The Combine is big for chatter. People talking about who's active, who's going to be active. It will surprise nobody that... one of the teams that everyone's talking about making moves, hey, watch out for these guys, that would be the Buffalo Sabres. So we're going to...
seen that coming.
Yes. They are, as your Boston Red Sox have been called, they're big-time interest kings.
I mean, if I heard otherwise, I'd be upset, I guess. So better than nothing.
My favorite part of any Combine talk, whether it's the NFL Combine, the NHL Combine, is the questions that the kids have been asked. And there was a fun one for the NHL Combine this year. So we'll get to that later. We'll have our own little philosophical discussion around that question. But that's always the most interesting part of Combine stuff for me is like, what fucked up questions are they asking teenagers and expecting to like learn bigger picture things about their characteristics?
I mean, they got to be careful with it now. Like
it doesn't seem like they need to anymore.
Brian Burke is long out of the game.
You would think that they would have to be careful, but they don't have to be anymore. Like we're still hearing crazy questions.
I mean, the big one that was talked about, we'll talk about it in maybe like 10 minutes. I would have had such an easy answer for that. Granted, I am 900 years old. These people are teenagers. We have a super chat from Anthony who says, the Marchand question is not complicated. As a Bruins fan, I am rooting for Marchand to win and the Panthers to lose. Quite simple, really. Yes, very easy. I saw some people in the chat saying that as Bruins fans, it's frustrating to see that everybody loves Marchand now when they were like ostracized for liking Marchand. I think that this is going to be a good conversation with Katie Nolan.
Tell you right now, no one was ostracized for liking Brad Marchand. You were ostracized for liking a rad-ass hockey team that no one else likes.
Rad-ass hockey team. I don't know what that... I think giving the Bruins too much credit.
I don't think it's as simple as Anthony lays it out there. It's simple because that's his view on it is simple. I think there are many ways that you can view it. So I think it's important to talk to some other people.
Another super chat from Clubbers who says, Brady Martin rocks. Utah wants him and wants him bad.
I can tell.
Right on,
that is pretty much why we had to look up who Brady Martin is, because we're seeing so much talk about Brady Martin. But let's begin the show talking about the Stanley Cup Final, which now moves to Florida as the series is tied 1 game apiece. Both games going to overtime. Panthers winning game 2 in double overtime thanks to a Brad Marchand breakaway goal. And I am glad that we had a little time to decompress from it, because I'll tell you right now, this series should be 1-1. Do we all agree?
Yep.
If both games go to overtime, it's pretty fair to say, let's give 1 game to this team. Let's give 1 game to this other team.
Well, I don't think you don't give the games, but the series should be 1-1 because it's been won by a team on either side. And like, I think the right team won in game 1 in terms of like who had the most opportunity. And then in game 2, the team that had the most opportunity ultimately ended up winning that game.
Game 2, one of the most exciting hockey games, maybe the most exciting hockey game of the year.
I would say so, yeah. Other than maybe the first round Oilers-Kings game 1, which was insane, but it wasn't as good of a hockey game.
It was
more of a circus.
Oilers, Kings, and Four Nations, I think we can put in their own like kind of specialty categories. But in terms of a Stanley Cup Final game, with lead changes, with a game-tying goal by the home team, and seeing a building go crazier than anyone has maybe ever seen a building go in a hockey game, that ruled. Double overtime, both goalies making big saves.
The nastiness of the series,
nastiness,
like some controversial stuff. Like I think that game had a little bit of everything that you look for in order to elevate the Cup Final.
You watch the watch-alongs. Marchand scores the game-winning goal, and I'm just like, fuck, tip your cap, whatever. That sucks. It would be great for my team to be up 2-0. Angriest I got was like an hour and a half after the game. The Hockey News tweeted out the breakaway with, watch Evan Bouchard's back check here. And it's Leon Draisaitl's going for a change. He sees, oh, fuck, the puck took a weird bounce off the boards, and now the Panthers have it, and they're throwing up to Marchand. I got a haul ass, and Bouchard is also giving chase. Draisaitl has him. Bouchard backs off in case there's a rebound. And the Hockey News, which is supposed to
give news about hockey, is instead, I hate to do this, like either stupid and doesn't understand hockey, or going for likes and clicks.
Engagement baiting.
That was engagement baiting, because 100% of the responses were quoting it being like, are you serious?
Well, I mean, that was like two parts of a lazy takeaway after game 2, which was that and then the Stuart Skinner discussion. And like, I understand that if you want to have issues or be like, Stuart Skinner, I worry about his ability on breakaways. Well, maybe the Oilers shouldn't give up a handful of breakaways in front of Stu Skinner. And you can't say that Stu Skinner can't stop breakaways when he did stop multiple breakaways before giving up the breakaway goal to Brad Marchand.
Someone tweeted that at me. They were like, Stu needs to stop one of those. That's all I'm saying. And I responded.
At least one. He stopped the Marchand one, and then there was the Reinhart one that I also believe that he stopped.
Like maybe Grazov. Yeah, I responded. I said, he did. He did, 2, in fact. And the person responded was like, oh yeah, my bad.
No, that's good behavior.
Awesome behavior.
That's great behavior.
Yeah.
Like in that moment being like, fuck, you got to stop those. He did. Shit. Yeah, fuck. I just wish he stopped them all.
It's also like a penalty kick. The point of them, more or less, is it's an advantage to the skater.
They're supposed to score.
Yeah,
Although I believe most
More.
breakaways are like, it's like 2 or 3 breakaways don't go in.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, I guess compared to like the rest of how hockey is played, it is easier for a player to score on a penalty on a breakaway than just like on a 5-on-5.
For sure. But I guess like, I mean, not to like push back on my own point here, but like Stuart Skinner or Brad Marchand had 3 breakaways. He scored on 2 of them. So
beating the odds.
You're supposed to only score on one of them.
I mean, I'm
That's
taking
Stu's
Brad
fault.
Marchand in that battle every day. And it's not just versus Stu. It's just big moment, game on his stick with more than half a second left. I know that everybody was comparing it to game 5.
Yeah, he has famously scored on every last second breakaway against Sergei Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers in the playoffs.
Fuck. So
Always happens.
series is tied 1-1. Panthers are awesome. We knew the Panthers were awesome. We thought that the doom and gloom that was coming from our friends on the Le Batard show was a little overstated. But as Sean, you and I discussed after game 2, it's just how a series goes. Your team wins a game and you're like, that team's going to win. Your team loses a game and is merely tied and you're like, I can't believe they're losing the series again. I can't believe it's all gone. Your life hangs in the balance of all of these games. And that's why we are trying to limit takeaways. And I was speaking of Le Batard show, our dear friend Roy Bellamy, and he was like, it's going 7. It was always going 7. So you can tire yourself out pulling your hair out about certain things and reacting to whatever. Like, you just got to know it's going 7. Do we think here that it's going 7?
Yeah, I think at this point it's I would put my money on that versus
It's going 6
anything
or
else.
7.
Yeah.
I think one team, I don't think each team is done winning. Hot take.
Here's the thing: is that if these games keep going to overtime and like progressively longer overtimes, like if we get triple overtime tonight,
We're getting 7. We're getting overtimes based on the number of the game it is.
yeah,
So
right.
We're getting 7
corresponding
overs, yes.
overtime games. Yeah, if it continues going to overtime, there is a chance that one team is just going to be fucking gassed and dead by the end of the series,
That
and it
is
doesn't
why
go 7.
I bit my tongue on it. I should have just manned up and said it. Remember I said I have a declaration
Yes.
that I'm sitting on, but I'm not going to do declaration talk, and we just watched the game. And it was the Oilers should win this game because they are the less tired of the teams. If they win this game, and the Panthers, having played more games than anybody else, having played more games than anybody else the last 3 years, with some of their guys a little long in the tooth, although obviously some of the guys in the Oilers are a little long in the tooth, that is trouble time for Florida, going to a building where they don't play as well. If the Oilers went up 2-0 in that series, and the Panthers are playing long games and losing them, I would not declare anything or do a big takeaway, but I would be like, I am ready to say that it's looking very good for one team, and one team is lowercase t in trouble.
My big takeaway feeling after game 2 is like
Well,
Panthers needed to win that game. And we went into game 2 saying it's not a must-win game by any means because we know that neither of these teams is out of any series, of any game. They've proven that throughout the course of their runs. But as that game went along, it was hard to escape the feeling like Florida didn't absolutely need it, especially having played a full extra game through the first couple of games in Edmonton. Like, if you had played, quote unquote, 3 games in Edmonton and you go back home with no wins, that would have been very, very tough to stomach.
Is a takeaway feeling the same as a takeaway? Because you started that point with my takeaway feeling.
I mean, we both gave takeaways.
Because it was a feeling versus like
I know.
a stamp being
You just
put
used
on
the word
You know what
takeaway.
Sean's doing? He's trying to make people think that you're all over the map.
Yes.
I did not. But if that is a result of this, then that's fine.
You're saying if that's a takeaway, that
yes,
is
if that's
all over the map.
other people can have whatever takeaways they want.
We have a super chat that says, I believe it's directed at Sean from Cup. Yeah, nothing would make me happier than to see Sean wrong about the Oilers 4 series in a row. Love you, Sean, but I want to see your tears.
Well,
That's
here's the thing:
completely
you'll
valid.
never see Sean's tears. He won't cry about it because he'll just be all over the map
just
and
go to
pretend
the
that
other
he.
side of
Yeah,
the map.
exactly.
No, I
yes.
mean, like I said before the series started, I'm not going to be like if the Oilers win, there's too many people that I'll be happy for me to be upset about it. I am rooting for Florida. I did choose Florida, so that is what it is. I'll be wrong. But
I also think that like you don't understand. Like, can I do a little game called DJ knows you better than you know yourself?
potentially, yeah, we'll see.
You're rooting for McDavid to win the cup. That's what you were rooting for.
I'm rooting for the Florida Panthers, but I will be happy. Like that'll be a positive, like a silver lining, if you will. Like I'll be happy that he won. I'll be happy that Jeff Skinner kinda won. I'll be happy for the Oilers Nation folk. I'll be happy for the city of Edmonton. But like I said a couple days ago, when I watch the games, I am rooting for the Florida Panthers to win. I can't help it.
Sean, take your shoes off before you go all over the map.
Yeah.
That.
I will say, by the way, the feeling that it's going 7. I did say maybe during the watch along that like all of these games are going to be coin flips, and sometimes you flip a coin and it lands on head 4 times in a row. Like it's 50-50 chance. So like
that's all I want.
I think there's a good chance, obviously, that it goes 6 or 7, but like this shit ends in 5. Either way, I'm going to be like, I'll be surprised if any of the games are blowouts. But if we end up having 5 games of overtime or 1-goal games, and one team wins in 5, like it'll be like, yeah.
Do you think there's a possibility?
I was gonna say if the Florida Panthers win the next 3 games and they all look like they did in Game 2, and we get a 5-game series in which like the team that I'm not really rooting for ends up winning the series, I will have no complaints.
It's still a great series.
Yes. Yeah.
Do we think that it can be like last year where the team that scores fewer goals wins the series? The team that gets outscored wins the series.
I don't think so, because I will be surprised if any of these games end up as blowouts.
Exactly.
Correct.
I like right now, how can you not think every game is going to be close? And off of that, it'll be 5-1 Florida now, or something like that. But I'm with you on that, Sean. I think that, if you think it's going to be anything but close games, the Panthers did everything right last game, and still, like that, man, like good for them. I would have been so fucking demoralized by that Corey Perry goal at the end of regulation, where you do everything right and still you're like, how am I going to overtime right now?
Yeah, especially that goal. We watched that goal, saw like 3 replays, and we're like, how the fuck did he get that off? How did that go in? That goal was unbelievable.
Speaking of Corey Perry, you guys watch the PD breakdown?
No.
PD breakdown does not put it on Evan Bouchard. Puts it on actually Evan Bouchard being very unfortunate, because when the puck is coming off the boards, it hits like a crack in the board, something. It takes an unusual bounce to a Panthers player, and that's why they're able to, because like Bouchard was focused on just holding the blue line and keeping the puck in the zone. Ends up on the stick of a Panther. The rest is history. I think it was Ekholm who took a slap shot right before that led to all that. Corey Perry was right by the net. Ekholm took a shot wide, like at Perry. And you know what Perry did?
Got out of the way.
He got out of the way.
Hate to see that.
And PD wasn't saying like coward, but he was like, shots coming at you like that, it's human instinct to turn a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If he just stayed still, pucks off him, game is over. And that's what's so great about these PD breakdowns. You see on almost all these big things, and he's not dramatizing it. Usually after like a big breakdown, he's always like, and here's how 10 seconds prior with one small thing, the other team scores instead. So make sure you subscribe to PD. That's that.
Also, if you want to get super chats in, we are going to start doing at the end of shows. Like if you want us to talk about something that you're very passionate about and you super chat it, we'll get to some super chats at the end of the show. So
yes. Morning skate stuff. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins did not skate yesterday. Jeff Skinner was skating in his place. He did Ryan Nugent-Hopkins this morning. He did a light skate. After the morning skate, Ryan Rishaug said Jeff Skinner was breathing very heavy, as though he'd gone kind of hard towards the end of the skate, which suggests you're not playing. You're trying to get all your exercise in. Chris Knobloch said that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will take warm-up and is a game-time decision. So I think we should take that as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins playing.
Do we know what's wrong?
I know. I don't know.
Kind of came out of nowhere.
A little bit.
Yeah, interesting. And then AJ Greer in for Jesper Boqvist for the Panthers. Famous last words. I think Jesper Boqvist is better than AJ Greer. So whatever. But both of these teams are playing guys that I would say don't play that guy. Play Jeff Skinner instead of Trent Frederick. But what do I know?
I like just Boquist the mercenary though. Like I like him popping into different spots in the lineup and just doing his thing.
I want to see Jeff Skinner play really badly, but given who you're going up
I want
against,
to see him play well.
I think Trent Frederick
well.
has an impact in this series based off his physicality.
At some point, he has to. Let's go around the NHL and do some combine stuff before we get to Katie Nolan. So the combine happening in Buffalo over the weekend, and Pete, why don't you give us the question that the player was asked?
Yeah, okay. So Taylor Hassey of DK Pittsburgh Sports reported that the Montreal Canadiens, who are known for giving some pretty weird questions or prompts at the combine, had another weird one this year. Said, here's the question. If you're stranded in a desert with someone with only a bottle of water and a baseball bat, and you can't share the water, and the other person takes the water first, what do you do with the bat? And this was reported because Caleb Denoye said he'd hit a home run. He would take the bat and hit a home run. That is an unbelievably good and nonsensical answer to a nonsensical question.
I mean, throw it back at them, confuse them. They're trying to throw you off your game, throw them off their game.
100%.
What would you guys do in that situation?
So I would have so many follow-up questions. Who is the person? If it's my sister, she can have the water. Like I'll die, whatever. If it's a random person, should have taken the bat because now I have a weapon you don't, and it's every man for themselves. But if it's someone I care about, like I'll sacrifice myself. If it's a teammate, if it's my captain, like that's my answer.
So it says you can't share the water. Fucking says like, does it mean like if you both drink the water you die or something? Because what I do is I use the bat to get the water. You can do that without hitting somebody with it.
Depends on the person.
You go out and push. They drop it.
That's why I have so many questions. It so depends on the situation. Like if I can. Yeah, I mean, obviously the implication there is like, will you beat the fuck out of this person for the water? Like, will you do anything to survive? Probably.
I will intimidate them with the bat.
It's fucking Lord of the Flies. Like it becomes every man for themselves.
I'll be honest. I'd drop the bat. I'd get them to give me the water. Or just talk to them, charm them.
The desert's tough because if it's an island, then I will work to try and find my own water. A desert, that's not really an option.
If it was an island, I would use the bat to crack open some coconuts,
exactly.
And I would drink the water out of the coconuts.
So that was my thought when the home run question, where the home run response was given, was like, you bash some coconuts, but then it's like, it's a desert. There's not really anything around. So
really, the right answer is you plant the water in the sand, and then it grows a water tree, and then you all have water.
Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, the other thing is like, just because you have the water, like the water's going to run out eventually. It's a bottle of water. You're still going to die.
You know what I would do?
Rescue is an option. That's what I'm working towards.
So everyone, they need some sort of liquid. I would piss on my hands. Better grip on the bat.
Seems like
or a posada.
Nice.
Slug them. Get the water. They would think that when I began to piss, they'd think, oh, they're doing some sort of thing so they can drink. No. I'm taking this at bat as seriously as a heart attack.
That's a good plan. You take some practice swings with the bat and you say, my hands don't have as good a grip. Can I borrow that water? I need the hydration so that my urine flows and then I can pee on my hands.
Right.
And then you really put them in a box.
Because ultimately the biggest problem for each of you is how are you going to do something cool with the bat, not how are you going to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Pete and I would both go undrafted.
I just don't have enough information in the situation. I would like to think that management would be impressed by the extent to which I thought about it.
I'm more concerned. What do they hope to learn by asking this question?
Just how you respond under pressure, I guess.
I guess.
I think it's more of like
are they going to take people off their draft board if they're like, I'm killing the other person?
I think it is. I don't know exactly what they're looking for, but I feel like these questions tend to be a little bit of like a fishing attempt. Like you're trying to see if you'll get a particular thing that will either raise some kind of alarm bell or a green flag one way or the other.
You know what the funny thing is though? If you ask Connor McDavid that question, his answer is, I don't know. I just want to play hockey, man.
Yeah.
And then like when you hear Connor McDavid say that, you're like, this guy doesn't care about none of the bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, you have Sebastian Aho on this podcast and you ask him dumb questions and he's like, I don't know.
Did you hear what
locked in?
Did you hear what Leon said when someone asked McDavid, like to young players who watch your pass on the power play where you absolutely killed Barkov and was it Barkov and Forsling? Yeah, I think it was Barkov. No, Barkov and Ekblad, which it's a little
makes a lot more
against
sense
Ekblad than Forsling. But like where you walk Barkov and Ekblad, what would you tell a kid who wanted to
like
understand how to do that? And McDavid was trying to answer the question, and Draisaitl was like, "You just tell them that they can't do that.
Well,
that you can't learn that."
I mean, it's good to know your limitations.
Exactly. A big thing from the Combine is the rise of a young man called Brady Martin, and I was seeing videos about this kid. I was seeing chatter about this kid, and I believe our dear friend Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects said that he would not be surprised if he went as high as number 4 overall to the Utah Mammoth. And Utah's a very interesting team in this draft because famously they jumped way up by winning the second lottery drawing. So they're picking higher than their team needs, and they're willing to trade the pick for a young star player, or maybe they get a little creative. And Brady Martin, a kid who is a physical center and has something to do with farms, is now the talk of the NHL. We asked, who is Brady Martin? Sean, could you answer that at all for us?
A little, I get kind of maybe. First off, the thing I found the most interesting was that Cam said that either he or someone asked Brady Martin who he looks up to, and he said Sam Bennett, Tom Wilson, and Matthew Knies. So I think we have maybe a Rat Prince.
We have a real shithead on our hands.
If Brad Marchand is the Rat King, maybe we have a Rat Prince here. And shout out Josh Allen. He's a farm boy. First off, he's the middle child of, he's got 3 siblings, 2 brothers, 1 older, 1 younger, and a younger sister.
So he's not the middle child.
No, but he's a middle child.
You can have 2. I feel
There's
like
2 in the
that's
middle.
really
It's a double-
fudging the
it's
number.
a
Yeah,
double-
no, I'm a middle child. I'm the
It's a double
third
star
of 4.
4. Just because there's extra stuffing doesn't mean it's not in the middle.
All right.
And he's the middle of 2 boys, which I think is the most important part.
Okay.
But he also has the element of having a younger sister that, you raise, protect, stuff like that. But apparently, during COVID, they were all living on a farm working, and the boys, because they had a bunch of time, just bought cows. And they raised cows and started their own line of beef that they sold. So these
he's
boys,
at risk for gout.
no, but he's a go-getter. He had time, he had an opportunity, and he went and he did it.
He's at risk
I like
for gout.
Pete's thing on the gout.
Yeah.
Is he the next Paul Bissonnette, or is
maybe
he the
he's
next Sam Bennett?
The reason Biz has gout. He's selling the beef.
He's giving his opponents gout.
He's like, hey, I'm a good guy. I'm just trying to make friends across the league. Here's a bunch of steaks. They expire in 3 days. Eat them all now.
An important part of the thing that we never brought up with Biz. How did Biz get gout before Jacob Chychrun?
Because Jacob Chychrun doesn't overeat.
Yes, I mean
He
that's
knows
the thing.
it's precisely calculated how much raw liver he should eat.
Okay.
And
fair.
Biz is eating at least 20 ounces of steak
He's
every
a
night.
gout getter.
Gout getter.
Go-getter.
Okay, so this is the number 1 riser in the draft, we think. But he's a physical center. He's got some nasty to him.
And I mean, if that's not the GMBA MO, I don't know what is.
I mean, if he was American, I would say that the Bruins are going to trade David Pastrnak to get this guy.
Yes, I agree. This rules because this guy can't go higher than 4, right? This isn't like a Beckett-Seneca situation. Although maybe it is because this is a 2-player draft.
Yeah,
They say
Saw
they
some
say
stuff
it's
about
Schaefer and it's
Higgins.
Misa.
Saw some stuff about Higgins maybe sliding.
Oh, Higgins is sliding.
He performed very well at the combine.
But
To what extent you take that?
okay, so this will bring me to another thing from the combine I want to discuss. Hagen sliding, we think. Buffalo Sabres, per everybody. Very active, telling teams they're willing to do stuff. They want to make moves. Elliot Friedman says that they are willing to move their prospect in exchange for more immediate NHL help. I think of the Ryan McLeod trade last year.
Mm-hmm.
They need to make more of those trades. Yes?
For better players.
Yeah, they need to address their top 6, and they need a top pair right shot D man.
Okay, so they need a top pair. A top pair right D man. I say Noah Dobson. You have the 9th overall pick, and the New York Islanders have to want James Higgins. I don't think that James Higgins is falling to 9, but say the Islanders take Schaefer, Misa, number 1. I think people expect it's going to be Schaefer.
Mm-hmm.
They still will want James Higgins. If there's a possibility, a team that didn't think it was going to be within range because they had like the 13th or 14th or whatever pick it was going to be. They move all the way up to number 1, or I think it was going to be like the 11th or something like that. But they move all the way up to number 1, and they end up being able to come out of this thing with both James Higgins and the number 1 player in the draft, Matthew Schaefer. Ooh, could be very fun.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
Buffalo Sabres, I am trying to trade that pick to the Islanders, and I'm trying to get my right shot defenseman because, God, they need that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they really want Higgins and they're worried about him not sliding to 9, they trade Matt Barzal to the Boston Bruins. It would be very funny if the Bruins ended up with Barzal.
I mean, I think if you
after all this time,
I think if you are trying to move up to get Higgins, you need to be attacking the Utah pick. Like, that's the one that there's been a clear indication that they're willing to trade. Because otherwise, it's not like it's super common to fucking move around lottery picks.
I would not be surprised if lottery picks moved this year.
I do think this year there seems like to be a lot of reason to think that it might, but I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, it doesn't seem like it happens all that much. But again, there's no way. I mean, you never know. Like, Shane Wright was the first overall draft pick until he wasn't, and then he was 4.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I would be shocked if Higgins fell. Like, it seems like the Utah pick is the only avenue for someone to move up and get Higgins if they're not currently holding that pick.
I don't think that Higgins gets to 7. I will say that.
I mean, even Shane Wright, like, he fell, but he fell to 4.
Yeah.
Like, Higgins, I don't think Higgins has fallen past, like, I mean, fuck if I know, honestly, but like, I would be surprised if Higgins fell past 5, 6.
But we're talking about
9. 9, because 9 gets you within striking distance. Otherwise, where do the Islanders pick next?
But like, I don't think striking distance is good enough. Like, if you're the Islanders and you're making that move, I think you need to be confident that you're like. I don't think it happens before draft day. I think it happens on draft day when you know you're going to be able to get the player that you want.
Yeah,
which seems to be
I would.
Higgins.
I think it would have to be like in place for the draft
Yes.
to see as things are happening, and then if he's there at 7 or 9, then maybe you strike a deal. But you don't strike a deal hoping that he falls to that if that's who you have in mind.
Especially with like, if Utah is big on Brady Martin, like, I think there's probably a chance you get him after 4. So if you can trade out of 4 and then trade back into the top 10 or something like that.
I actually don't
masterclass.
know about that. I think that if Utah likes Brady Martin at 4, they're like, we'll take him at 4.
Well, yeah, but if you don't have to, like, if they're more into Brady Martin than, like, it's a Beckett Seneke situation. Like, we don't know, right? But like, say that the Ducks were the only team really interested in there, like, you can risk moving back and then moving back into the top 10 or whatever and get him. If you're moving into like 7 or 8 or not, like the Sabres, for example, don't need that draft pick in theory. If you could trade with Utah and get them back in the top 9 so they can get their guy, like, I think there's a lot of ways it can go.
If you want to move to a hockey game or an event of any kind, I recommend Vivid Seats, the best place to get your tickets for any game or show. They have the best selection of seats, a 100% buyer guarantee, and they're the only ticket marketplace that rewards you for every purchase. For a limited time, our listeners can use promo code CHAOS30 to receive $30 off their first Vivid Seats purchase of $300 or more. Just click the link in the show notes or download the Vivid Seats app and use promo code CHAOS30 for $30 off your first purchase of $300 or more. And that's not all. Vivid Seats is giving away free tickets every week. Check out the exclusive game center in the Vivid Seats app and play trivia about your favorite teams and artists for your chance to win. When it comes to playoff hockey, being there is all that matters, so experience it live with Vivid Seats.
If you're at the game and you can do it, why not throw a little Prize Picks in the mix? Because Prize Picks is the best supplementary way to enjoy the sport that you love. We were watching Game 2 of the Cup Final on our watch along. We had a couple people in the chat talking about Prize Picks and how they had like an insane lineup that was just oops all hits, and that's some good behavior. That's a real nice way to supplement your viewing experience. Just rooting for everybody to hit each other. Love that. Probably cashed based off of the way that Game 2 went. But Prize Picks, you can mix and match. Like, you can take over more or less on player props in the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
You can mix and match it with the Cup Finals. You can do goals, shots, hits, all that good stuff, time on ice.
Speaking of the NBA Finals, they have a discounted square for Tyrese Halliburton. Well, currently you can get a 20% payout boost if you include Tyrese Halliburton in your thing, in your slate I guess.
Right on. The app is extremely easy to use. You just create a lineup. All you got to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 2,000x your money. So sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. That shit is guaranteed. So download the app today. Use code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Guaranteed win or lose. Prize picks. Run your game.
Can I just say, both goalies, Bob is at 26.5. Stu is at 27 goalie saves.
I mean,
based on how these games have gone
on Bob, because
on
Bob
both of them.
Bob's getting
Bob in particular,
pounded.
yeah. But I mean, the last two games have gone to fucking overtime. Like they've almost doubled those totals.
Yeah, what were they going into some of these games? Because I think that now you do have to assume the better is doing it thinking, you know what, this fucker's going into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good chance for maybe Prize Picks to make some money off you. But if these games follow the suit, especially like Pete said, the Bob, like, don't want to say free, but it's damn close.
I saw some people pushing back on like the claims that we were saying that during game one, Bob didn't look that amazing. They were like, he had 40 saves and like he had a couple really big saves, but ultimately I think the energy was just Bob was not controlling his rebounds, did not look as smooth as we've come to expect from him when he's on his game. Game two, I thought he was great.
Yeah, I'm getting more and more out on goalie conversations. They just end up being stupid.
I mean, it's like it takes a puck knower, like a real puck knower, to really analyze goalie play. I feel like
that's the like I don't feel particularly qualified, and I covered hockey and was like forced to have it in my face a million days every day for a million years. And when I have any sort of intelligent goalie conversation, it's because I'm talking to someone who knows a lot about it.
Yeah,
not because I'm doing anything.
Everything I know about goaltending is I've learned from Petey. Because not only is a video guy, he's a goalie guy. I've gotten a much better appreciation that every time a goalie fucks up, it's not necessarily because the goalie fucked up.
Yeah, and people like that want to talk about Bob or Stu in that game on Friday. Like Bob went a long time without allowing a goal in that game, and then there's a last-second goal by a team that, I'll borrow the term from netters, feels inevitable sometimes. Stu went like 5 hours in that game without giving up a goal.
Yeah.
Like goalies were not the conversation.
I think we got to retire the word inevitable, because if both teams on each side of a series are inevitable,
you end up with the first two games.
Nobody calls the Panthers inevitable, though. I've just heard netters calls the Oilers inevitable.
I feel like the Panthers have an
Panthers,
air inevitability.
I think that, I agree, but I don't think that people say that.
I think this was inevitable. Like, it was inevitable that they were going to meet each other in the final.
Fair.
What goes on from there? No.
And we were all stupid for thinking otherwise, because I didn't really think about that
or considering otherwise. Like it should have been more obvious early that this was happening.
Okay, let's get to our dear friend Katie Nolan. You know her from the Casuals podcast and from her friendship with us. She is the greatest. Hello, Katie Nolan.
Hi, guys. I was just switching my headphones while you were yapping about goalies, but we'll keep these ones on. Hi.
That's the time to do it. When people are yapping about goalies, do anything
I was like,
else.
I have time. I'll switch into the headphones that won't make my hair look so stupid. But here we are. Let's talk about how sad I am.
Okay, let's do it. We are calling a meeting to discuss Brad Marchand. And Brad Marchand, if you do not know, is thriving right now. He has 17 points, which is tied for 17th in the postseason. He has a plus 14, which is second among all players in the postseason. And this group here has a lot of interesting perspectives. And I think that we're all uniquely qualified to discuss what Brad Marchand is doing right now and how we feel about it. Sean, if you could fill people in for anybody who does not know, there it is. We have myself. I'm a longtime colleague of Brad Marchand. I'm also an Oilers fan. I call Marchand a friend, but I'm deep down a little worried that he doesn't say the same about me. Katie is a Bruins fan who I don't think I'm putting words in her mouth when I say is not dealing with this breakup well. Pete is a Bruins fan who seems very happy for Brad Marchand, but also you feel a little ripped off.
Yeah, a little ripped off. I agree with Sarah Sivian, who had this take. The Panthers owe the Bruins more draft picks than what they gave them based off of what Brad Marchand is doing for them.
And lastly, we have our dear Sean DePaz, who hates the Bruins, met Brad Marchand this season, really liked him, and has really been smiling through all this, is the LeBron James, I can't believe this is my life meme. Sean, if you would put yourself up when we have this conversation. Is that correct, Sean?
Yeah, it is. Most certainly.
How could you call
love
yourself
it.
a Bruins hater in that room? It just seems like an odd choice for you.
Oh,
Not
no,
to
that's,
chime in,
this
but-
is my element. I like being the bad guy.
If
That's great.
there's two things that you need to know about Sean, it's that he loves sports, but more so loves being a hater. So
Great.
it's just really we're hitting a real meeting point with the Bruins thing.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I will toss this around, and I will start with the Bruins fans, Katie and Pete. I'll begin with you, Katie. How do you feel watching what Brad Marchand is doing right now?
I'm trying to feel happy for him. I'm putting a lot of effort into feeling happy for him because if I love him like I say I do and he's doing well, I should be happy for him. Deep down, I hate it. I hate it. I hate watching them hug him. I hate watching him hug them. I hate watching them celebrate together. I hate hearing Matthew Tkachuk be like, he was born to be a Panther. Everything that's supposed to piss me off, that everyone's doing to piss me off, is pissing me off. I'm only admitting that here because this is a closed circuit broadcast just for the four of us, right? As I was promised, we are in a safe space where no one can hear me. And so here I can say that when somebody tweeted at me the other day, people won't even remember that he was a Bruin. I did think about jumping off my roof. I know they're just poking at me. I get it. It's working. I'm sensitive. The world is on fire.
Now, Sean, why did you tweet that at Katie?
Yeah, you found my burner. I just want to say, Katie, your reaction to this is the exact reason I'm having so much fun. I love watching Bruins
I don't
fans.
even know you, and I can't stand you.
That's exactly
I
what
hope
I
the
want.
Sabres are bad for the rest of your lifetime.
Oh, they're going to be.
Look at that smile on Sean's face. He does not give a fuck about the Sabres.
Yeah, I mean, calling the Sabres, like people like to do this to me all the time. They're like, oh yeah, the Sabres haven't been in the playoffs in 4. I know. You think
You're
I know that.
emotionally detached, and I feel sadder for you because you can't feel feelings. You have to feel feelings based off, derivative off of my true feelings because your heart is dead and nowhere.
Yep. Yeah. Perfectly put.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
I mean, when you met Brad Marchand, what did he say to you, Sean?
Well, he ended the conversation by saying, "Good luck with the Sabres," in a very much like,
Wink,
"Good luck with
wink.
that thing that you have to deal with." And I loved that too. That's why I love him. He's a rat. I would like to think that if I was good at hockey or anything, I would also be kind of a rat. And so I can't
What's
help
a
but
rat
admire.
that isn't good at hockey? So you're just annoying?
Yeah,
Just like an actual rat.
Right.
yeah, a piece of shit
Yeah.
mostly. Yeah,
So my thing with Marchand is that like I love him and I'll love him no matter who he plays for, with the exception of like he can't play for the Leafs, can't play for the Canadians. I will always root for Brad Marchand because I love him as an individual. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to love the Bruins a little bit more. And I want to see him succeed in the Cup Final. I don't know if I want to see him win because I don't know if I want him to have equal amounts of like Stanley Cup success
know.
outside of the Bruins
Well-
with just like a half a year with the fucking Panthers and he wins as many Stanley Cups as he did with the Bruins. I don't. That's ammunition
And brother-
against the Bruins, and I don't think that I can stomach
You
that.
know that's kind of not even equal.
Yes.
If he wins, if he's 1 for a half with the Panthers, and he is
That's
what
his
is this,
Stanley
his
Cups per
17th,
60.
and he's like 1 for 16 with the Bruins. Pathetic.
not to mention he
and like had a pretty big role in like them
Not to
winning
mention
the
what,
Cup.
Sean?
he is one of the favorites. He's gonna be one of the leaders for the Conn Smythe if they win the Cup. If he wins a Conn Smythe and the Cup,
At this point, it's probably Bennett, but it could. I mean, based off the way the series is going, maybe it is Marchand.
you never know.
But yeah, I mean, like him having a real central role in the Bruins losing a Stanley Cup 6 years ago and then winning a cup and being one of the biggest reasons for the Panthers, it would really hurt. It would hurt. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, before we move on to the fact that and I think that the first phase is going very well. Everyone seems very happy. Before we move on to the how difficult is it that he's not just there for it, that he's driving it, as a longtime colleague and defender of Brad Marchand, who is now watching him score goals against the only team that he really roots for, this is just a unique thing that I never foresaw. I have defended Brad Marchand through so many dirty, bad things he has done on the ice. I never thought that Marchand could do anything on the ice that would upset me. So this sucks, but I'll say to my Oil people who don't want to hear it, he's the fucking best. It is so hard not to love him. I'm not happy when he scores, but I'm happy for him.
I mean, Oilers fans have him with Corey Perry. They have Corey Perry, so they should understand, like, I would expect Oilers fans to still not hate Brad Marchand. And that's a bigger part of, like, this whole discussion, is that I kind of dislike that now nobody dislikes Brad Marchand.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I always kind of want him to be a little bit hated. But it seems like everybody's coming around on respecting him at least.
In order for him to exist the way that he is, he has to be widely disliked. It's been another part of this that I've hated, is watching Panthers fans embrace him too quickly. Where you're like, it would take me a long time to embrace Kachuk if he came to my team. I don't care what he does. It would take me a minute.
I got a guy for you. You ever heard of Mike Ryan? Because that guy is still not sold.
Okay, but he's doing it as a bit. I mean, that's not I don't think a guy who watched a lot of hockey. I don't know. I could be wrong. I just feel like I guess that's all of the Panthers fan base when you really boil it down. They're not longtime hockey enjoyers.
To be fair to them, there wasn't really a choice of theirs.
Sure. I don't care about being fair to them, Pete. I don't know if I'm communicating that clearly. I'm upset, and this is how it comes out. Hurt people. I think in the long run, it will be detrimental. This is a hot take. Clip it. I think in the long run, it will be detrimental to Brad Marchand's success to not have a significant portion of people who hate him. And I'm not going to hate him now that he's gone. Is he coming back? Are we still holding on to like a tiny
Definitely
shred?
not. Yes.
Okay. So
why would he want to at this point?
I don't know.
Sailed and sunk.
He wouldn't. Okay, great. And RIP to everybody on that ship, me. But I just think Bruins fans aren't going to hate him because we wronged him. And so who's left to hate him still? You need that to fuel him. It fuels him.
Yeah, he is. It's like the opposite of Santa Claus in Elf. You know, when they're like, is it Elf where they're like, Santa's sleigh can't fly unless people believe in him and are singing? Is that it for?
Yes. What other movie would that be?
Any Christmas movie. It's a lot about how Santa flies these Christmas movies.
Polar Express. You can't hear the bell if you don't believe.
That's true.
Okay, but Polar Express creeps a lot of us out. So let's shy away from that. Polar Express is
fucking boring. I did not.
That movie bangs.
I
like the Polar Express.
Snooze through that shit all the time. But
I got a text.
He's the opposite, where you need people to not believe in you and to hate you and to not sing, but throw things at you and say, fuck you, Brad Marchand. That's what he needs. And you are right, Katie. Very few people are doing it. The people who would most likely do it are all in this room. I'm never saying...
Never.
Fuck Brad Marchand. I know where my
He's invited to my wedding.
Yeah.
I got a text from somebody who is new to almost being my wife and says, Katie is the girl who broke up with her ex and is saying she's happy for him when he moves on, but she actually just hate follows his new girlfriend.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Oh, people do that?
Thanks, Ellen. You're totally right.
Yeah. I suppose that's why social media ultimately exists, so we can do things like that. Does it make it worse that, as I said, he's not just on the team, he's not just one of them, he doesn't just fit in on their Dairy Queen trips, he is the reason why they are tied in this series. They in Florida are saying, thank God we have this guy, one of our best players, Brad Marchand.
That doesn't make it hurt for me more. I feel like it would hurt more if Marchand got traded and was like a bum or just like dead weight on a team. Like at the end of the day, it's still going to hurt to see him in the jersey no matter what. So he may as well be fucking good. Because I want to root for him. I do. I want to root for him. I want to see him succeed. I'm a little selfish, but I'm not that selfish. I'm not rooting for him to be like a failure with his new team.
Personally, it makes it better for me. Just saying.
Nobody's
Yeah.
asking you, Sean. I don't know if you've noticed, but like literally no one's asking you. So you can just pipe down.
I feel like it would only be fair if I point out the thing I point out to the two of them, which is like, I could shut this shit down. I can.
He does hold all
I can
the
go
power,
back
but
to
I
playing
do
video
like-
games in the middle of the day. We all have things we could be doing that aren't this.
Yeah,
okay?
Katie definitely wants to be doing this, by the way. Katie asked if she could come on the podcast. She was like, hey, I've got something I'm really cool about. Would love to chat.
Can I say something that's really stupid? I mean, why stop now? I just think I deserve, personally, Katie Nolan deserves. I just want Florida fans to go, sorry, you were right. I just want a little bit of like, you were right. He does rule. I see it now. Sorry that I acted like he wasn't talented, like he was only annoying, like he sucked. All the things that we said, I'm sorry, you guys were right. This guy rules, and having him on your team rules. Like just directly to us. I think we deserve that.
You know what? To make Sean even happier, what I'm hearing there is Patrice Bergeron stocks down. Turns out he did not make Brad Marchand. Turns out that Patrice Bergeron was a Brad Marchand merchant.
All right, this is places I'm not willing to go to.
But I mean, that was the thing forever. And the only person in Boston who pushed back on it was Adam Jones because he's a hater. But when people were like, yeah, but what would Marchand be without, look, like he's really good, but what would he be without Patrice Bergeron? And now we're seeing like years later, he is a third liner for the Florida Panthers, and he is the Florida Panthers like second or third best player.
I mean, if you're Florida at this point, you have to lean so hard into it. Like, you got to not only extend Brad Marchand, you got to retire Brad Marchand's number.
Like,
you have
after this cup.
Yes, like
Do the PK Subban.
Yes.
After they lose this cup.
that Katie had in her mentions. It's Florida and the entire Panthers organization, to be the maximum annoyance possible, has to just pretend like Brad Marchand never played for the Bruins and he has been like the centerpiece of their franchise forever. That would drive me insane.
What if Marchand stays there on like 3 years times $5 million? Like, what if he takes a massive discount?
There's no way he would. He
What if
wouldn't.
I kill
He wouldn't.
myself?
But after like he was after money in the contract is ultimately quote unquote why this thing fell apart in Boston, if he's like, oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
this rules.
that'd be it for me. I don't know
Yeah.
about you.
But
Your
my thing
threshold
would be
may
what
a
I
little
say
higher
to-
than mine.
My
I'm off
thing
the
would be
roof.
what I say to the Sabres when they talk about like, oh, the Sabres might trade 23-year-old JJ Peterka. I say, Sabres, just be better. Just be better and you don't have to deal with this. So to the Bruins, I would say, make it a situation where Brad Marchand would have signed with you for less, and then you don't see him go off and do all this and then take a small contract in Florida.
I mean, yeah, you have to give somebody a reason to take a hometown discount before expecting them to take a hometown discount.
They need to put a letter on him next year. Aaron Ekblad's going to leave.
Oh my
leave an
God.
A in the hanging. And Brad
I
Marchand is going to wear an A.
will just have to stop watching hockey. Like, I don't have a hockey-based show. I already have people yell at me when I force hockey into conversations. It would probably make my life a lot easier if I just give up on the sport altogether. Perhaps it's not for me.
Katie,
I will
people
miss
in
you,
our
Katie.
chat are asking if what we're talking about because they are unaware that Brad Marchand was ever a Bruin. This has
don't do
already
that.
started.
He's definitely
Don't do
wearing a
that.
Panthers cap when he goes in the hall.
Don't do that.
That's not how the hall
Any of
works
you-
for hockey, Sean. They don't wear hats.
And it's going to be awesome because when they win the cup again next
I'll
year,
kill
when he
you.
wins the cup again next year and he's wearing an A, he'll be like one of the first names on it.
So that's what sucks. Like, you got to make sure, if you're worried about this whole Marchand thing, which I think some people here actually might be, you got to make sure he doesn't re-sign in Florida.
Like anywhere else. I guess other than like, you'd rather him stay in Florida than sign with the Canadians.
Because say he
but,
goes
like,
to
yeah.
Yeah, you can't
say
go to
he
the
goes-
Canadians.
Say he goes to Colorado and they win, or say he goes to Edmonton and they win. It's like, okay, cool. That shit's got nothing to do with Boston. This is the team that quickly became your daddy, ruined your perfect season, and then stole your captain, and your captain happily made them better than you ever were. You got to make sure that doesn't happen. You can maybe figure out a way to rationalize it being a one and done. If he goes 1 for 1 there, that still sucks. But if he stays there and does some like end of career Tom Brady shit, that honestly
Why are you
hurts
bringing
more
up
than,
old shit?
But that
Why you
would
gotta
hurt
bring up
me.
old shit?
I think that should hurt a Bruins fan more than Brady going to Tampa and winning with them would, because at least Brady got kicked off the team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's where it's kind of. I don't blame Brady. Not that I blame Marchand, but like Marchand could have stayed if he wanted to.
There's no.
I gotta say right now, it's
between-
looking like the right call.
There's no connection between the Patriots and the Bucks the way there is the Bruins and the
that's
Panthers.
true.
No, famously, the Patriots wanted to sign Mike Evans, but he was like, "I will do anything to not have that happen." So that's
Cool.
Mike Evans talk. All right,
I feel like
Katie-
Boston's up. We're up right now. Everybody feel that in your bones? We're up.
Yeah,
Hey, Sox won a series against the Yankees. That's pretty cool.
Now we have to do it again this weekend, I just saw. What's with that? What's with the home and home?
I'm cool with them playing every weekend because that's
If
the
it's
only
gonna look
really
like that.
reason why I would watch the Red Sox. at
Hunter
this point.
Dobbins said if he was offered a contract by the
Yes.
last team that were offered a contract with the Yankees, he would retire. And then they asked every Yankee about it throughout the broadcast yesterday. It was awesome.
And then Aaron
Love
Judge
it.
hit a home run off of him in the first inning at his first
Yeah.
at bat.
Doesn't matter though. We won.
We sure did.
Katie. So it goes without saying, are you rooting for Edmonton in this series?
Yes.
Ah, nice. Love
Yeah.
that. Always
Happy
good see
to
another
happy to
Royal
be
man.
here.
Yeah. How are you? How are you enjoying that experience?
It's good. I missed the first game. I had to drive back from Boston, so I didn't see it. I saw the second game, so I saw Marchand the hero. It's rooting for the oil. The oil. What are we doing? What's the
They
cute-
say oil. They say
okay?
oil.
Oiling up is fun. I'm enjoying myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Loyal to the oil. I do have a question for you. If you're stranded in a desert with someone with only a bottle of water and a baseball bat, and you can't share the water, and the other person takes the water first, what do you do with the bat?
What?
Okay, so you're stranded in a desert with someone,
Okay.
and there's a bottle
We don't
of
know
water.
who the someone is.
No, you don't know who the someone is, just somebody.
But it's
Brad
coming.
Marchand.
Yeah.
The royal someone. There's a bottle of water and a baseball bat. You can't
Okay.
share the water, and the other person takes the water first. What do you do with the bat?
I hit the person in the head.
How are
Church.
we evaluating that answer?
Nice.
I mean, that's the most straightforward answer
Congratulations,
you can
you are now a San Jose Shark.
Yeah.
That gets you to third overall. That was a question asked at the combine.
It was?
Yeah, they're asking teenagers that question.
What do they want them to answer? What's the proper?
I don't know, but
I'm whittling down the bat to build a water filtration system to take the turn sand into water. Like, what could you possibly?
That's what Dougie Hamilton would say. and that's why he
no,
went 10th.
that's what Connor Hellebuck would say. I've
Oh.
studied water more than any other prospect
Yes.
in this thing, and they'd be like, "Okay, but you just died of thirst in the
You
first
can't
round." Oh wait, the
share
second
the
round.
water. That's the rule that takes away any possible diplomacy. If you can't share the water, and I'm handed a weapon, and we're in a desert, not on an island, a desert, so no water, I have to kill that guy. I'd probably kill myself.
With a baseball
Killing
bat?
yourself with a baseball bat would be
That seems hard.
You've
one of
never
the worst
seen my
ways.
swing. Right through the ball. A good solid contact.
One of the prospects said that he would hit a home run. So I
What
like
the
that answer. Why not?
Why not? You're about to die, so why not?
Yeah, good way to go out. Katie, Pete and I will not be featured on any of the social clips that come from this conversation. It will just be you and Sean, and I think that went well.
I'm glad I was here. Thank you guys for having me. Go Oilers.
Yes, love it. You're the best, Katie. Bye, friend. Look at her smile. Ah,
You're the
she's so
best.
happy. Bye. That's Katie Nolan. Check out Casuals. Okay, let's continue to go around the NHL. Sabres active. We discussed that. Willing to trade prospects for immediate help. Yes,
but not JJ Peterka.
Yeah,
but
that's a
not
big
JJ
part.
All
Peterka.
the smokes.
That's an important thing.
I mean, that was clearly just fucking crazy ass Rangers fans being like, they're trading him to us for nothing, and Sabres being have to be like, no, we're not.
Why do the Rangers think they're getting? If the
Because
Rangers,
Rangers fans are fucking crazy.
Yes.
The Rangers fans are just kind of like Leafs fans.
Detached from reality?
In America, where it's like if anything is involving anything, they're like, how does this affect the Rangers?
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that they're also desperate and down bad
Yeah.
for anything to make themselves feel better about the crash that they had this season. So I get that. And I'm not willing to say that the Sabres aren't going to trade JJ Peterka. It just sounds like they are not, like that is not a priority for them.
Yeah,
They're
don't.
considering it.
It's not Bo Byram. Like Bo Byram, they have an active reason to try and get out.
Yeah.
JJ, not so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Something from Elliot Friedman is that the Oilers are expected to, or it seems, let's just keep it as it looks possible that the Oilers are going to re-sign Trent Frederick. I kind of hold my breath on that one because
I'm not holding my breath because the first thing I'm saying is why.
Yeah, I say how first. I say like, what does it look like? Like if you're gonna do, I know that these like retirement contracts are now becoming popular. Like, do you give Trent Frederick a retirement contract? Do you give him like 8 times $2 million?
A one-day contract to retire of an Edmonton Oiler?
Like if it's 8 years times $2.5 million, I'm like, let's roll the dice, I guess. Like I am not giving. I love Trent Frederick. I'm just not giving him a high cap hit. I'm not.
How
no,
much?
but I mean the AFP analytics projection is 2.35. Is 2 by 3.5.
2 years, $3.5 million AAV, and I know the cap is going up, but I don't know if Trent Frederick is a third liner or a fourth liner on this team, and ideally he's a fourth liner, and $3.5 million is a lot. So I would rather something in the twos, and really like not even something in the high twos for longer years. Or maybe it's a thing where he had a down year this year and he's like, I think I said it on the stream or something, like sign with the Panthers or the Oilers for 1 year, very low money, have a good season, win, and then you're off and you sign a big contract.
How much of it do you think is a little bit of like a Brock Nelson situation where there's like the optics of losing a guy that you gave a bunch up for? Right. I know it's different for the Oilers.
Give up
I know. It's different, but like I think compared to who Brock Nelson is compared to who, like I would say they gave up a lot for the kind of player it is, and doing that and then him not doing much in the half a season or whatever that you had him, even less in Frederick's situation, and then letting him walking.
Yeah, but that's just compounding the issue, or more likely to compound the issue with the Oilers and Trent Frederick. Like you gave up your top prospect to go get Brock Nelson, and
it's definitely
and I think that you see more of these Trent Frederick trades. Like those are more common than really selling out and getting a guy like Brock Nelson.
Another thing, do you think there is a possibility that Corey Perry is retiring?
I think that's
they want to
a definite
try and replicate the gritty worminess of Corey Perry.
Yes, and I got some pushback from an Oilers fan who was like, "You're ignoring, like you say the cap is going up, but then say they're gonna have all this money committed and blah blah blah." What you got to understand is guys are coming off the books. Ekholm is coming off the books after next year, and they have other players who are going to be up. But your number one defenseman no longer making $6 million is not a good thing.
Right.
You know, like you got to replace him.
He's coming off the books. You need to replace him. Yeah. He's going to cost more.
Wallman is also coming off the books after next year. Are you letting him walk?
I mean,
is he coming back for free? Because that's a guy who, based on this postseason, is getting a bonkersville raise. And you are giving Evan Bouchard $1 bajillion. And I forgot this other guy, Connor McDavid, that you are giving $1 bajillion to.
Blank check.
And this coming year, I believe Leon Draisaitl starts making $14 million. So, like, yeah, money's going to be tight, and you might end up having a roster. Cap is going up. Thank you, Sean. Yeah. You are going to maybe have a Pittsburgh Penguins-esque roster where it's like, we have a few guys making an absolute ton of money, and then everyone else is making $2 million a year. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying,
how'd that go for Pittsburgh?
What's that?
So how'd that go for Pittsburgh? I know Pittsburgh didn't have the two best players in the league, but still.
It got them some cups, which is good, but like you got to make sure that you're picking the right guys. That's all. So I would love Trent Frederick back for the right number, and I'm afraid that the number is going to be higher than I think. Speaking of people negotiating with the Oilers, Dylan Holloway has fired his agent. St. Louis Blues star Dylan Holloway has fired his agent and switched to Judd Moldaver, who is Connor McDavid's agent. If you do not recall, last summer he signed a 2-year times $2.29 million AAV offer sheet with the Blues. and now the switch comes. He's eligible, obviously, for a new contract this year. He's coming off a 30-goal season. Unbelievable player. The optics of this looks funny, that as the Oilers are in the Stanley Cup Final, Dylan Holloway is like, fuck this, you're gone. What do we make of this?
I wouldn't read too much into it. Like, yeah, he could have been in the Stanley Cup Final this year, but he probably also wouldn't have scored 30 goals.
Yes.
Probably. Because he probably wouldn't have been playing with Leon Draisaitl like he wanted to play.
And wouldn't be making this much money.
Right. Well,
This year. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, if he took a 1-year short money deal this year, even if he didn't have the year that he just had in St. Louis, he's probably making more next year than he's making in the entire $4.58 million contract with the Blues. So I could see how he might, maybe this is sort of blaming that on his agent. Maybe. Or maybe it's just, I'm eligible for a huge new contract. I want to make sure that I have an awesome agent doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know.
Funny news.
It is a funny optically and timing wise. It is pretty juicy.
Dallas Stars planning to bring back Jamie Benn. How do we feel?
I never considered Jamie Benn going anywhere else. So it's not. Doesn't
Retiring
really
or
move
back
anything.
to the Stars? Okay, can I interest you in Charlie Coyle on the trade market? He's got 1 year, $5.25 million left. The Avalanche traded a lot for him. They gave up a first-round pick and Casey Middlestat, and now it looks like after word that maybe he wasn't a great fit, we saw Nathan McKinnon screaming at him, so it could be that.
Could be that.
Charlie Coyle on the trade market.
Are the Avs just bad at like running a hockey team? Did they get kind of lucky? Because it seems like they're doing a lot of bad shit. Like not necessarily bad shit, but like they're having to make up for mistakes that they've seemed to have made.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing a bad job or if like there's something that's off there.
Like I Nazem Kadri leaving, I think broke this team.
That's a take.
I mean, not really. Ever since he left, they've been trying to replace him.
Yeah.
At that 2C spot. They overpaid for Brock Nelson, who didn't show up in the playoffs, so they had to make good for that. Now they've fucked up this situation with. I will say they fixed the goalie situation. That took them maybe a little longer than it should have. Like, I don't know. They lucked. No, I don't want to say lucked in, but they ended up with two of the best players in the league. And that's carried them pretty far. But like, otherwise, they've made a lot of moves that are somewhat questionable.
Chris McFarland on Fraud Watch.
I'm not going that far. I mean, this team was one Mikko Rantanen God mode period away from getting past the first round, maybe winning the second round, getting to the Western Conference Final, and who knows, maybe they just don't.
Also, a Mikko Rantanen away from not having to play Mikko Rantanen in the playoffs because you keep that guy on your team.
Technically, that wasn't really their fault. They did not trade him to the team that they played.
That is true, but they did trade him off of their team.
They fucked around and they found out.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
100% true. Yes.
All right. Fraud Watch for the Colorado Avalanche in general. Where would you like Charlie Coyle? New York Rangers, I think, should go after him.
I'll be honest, this is going to sound horrible as a Bruins fan.
You just try to get him back?
No, I do not care where Charlie Coyle goes. I think that Charlie Coyle is pretty washed, my friend.
I don't know if he's washed. Thank you for calling me a friend. I don't know if he's washed.
Breaking news.
Yeah. Well, after the Brad Marchand thing, I'm worried. I'm like,
Charlie Coyle.
if he's not calling me his friend,
Charlie Coyle
maybe he does.
was not good in Boston
this year.
Yeah. And was not really all that noticeable in Colorado either.
Yeah, I still think that he's like he's more of a third line center now, but he can be like a second and a half line center. I think he maxes out at third line center. Yeah.
I would not. If you're playing him in your top six, I think that's more of an indictment of your roster.
I'm also kind of surprised that he hasn't been on the Rangers yet. So that's why I'm saying Rangers. Also, Golden Knights gives them a little, not like Eichel insurance, but knowing that Eichel's up after next year, get Charlie Coyle in here at least, like, not to replace him, but I'm saying like shore up your center depth a little in case something goes down.
I mean,
It's stupid to use those two names in the same sentence.
I just like it doesn't matter. Like,
well, Winnipeg.
If you lose Jack
Winnipeg,
Eichel, you're
I
fucked.
like.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, yeah. I'm guessing he has a no trade though, so we'll see there. Vegas Golden Knights, interestingly enough, James Myrtle listed William Karlsson as someone who they could try to move to make room for Mitch Marner in free agency. And I find that interesting because I think that when Mitch Marner to the Knights has come up, our brains have gone right to Mark Stone because it's going to be a long-term thing. But maybe if it's a move Karlsson and cap goes up, you sign Marner. I'm just not. You just always have to think that the Knights are lurking, and they didn't do enough at the deadline this year. So I bet they are big horny to make some sort of move.
Yeah, it's possible. You mentioned they didn't do anything at the deadline. They very rarely build their team through free agency.
Yes, they are a trade boy.
So this would be out of character for them. But again, it was out of character for them to be so quiet at the deadline. So maybe this is just kind of things balancing themselves out. I'll be honest, I would love Marner in Vegas.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That's emerging as maybe the most intriguing of the options. But also at the same time, like, good players got to stay in the Eastern Conference. Like, you can't have all like the league's top weapons go to the Western Conference.
I mean, I don't like it for the playoffs, but as somebody who watches more Western Conference hockey than Eastern Conference hockey, gives me a better product. I will fear Vegas. Let me tell you, I will fear Vegas if they add Mitch Marner. That's the God's honest truth.
I mean, it certainly makes them more dangerous. By the way, Coyle currently has a 8-team no trade for this season. Once the next season starts, it goes down to a 3-team no trade.
Oh,
so
interesting.
If they wait until the new
start
season,
like a week, and then
is
trade
Winnipeg one
of
of the 3 teams?
I'm assuming that starts with like the league year, right?
Yeah.
So like July 1.
1st. Yeah, I would guess. I mean, it's probably 3 Canadian teams. But
yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if Winnipeg was on one of them. But imagine leaving yourself open to be traded to the Buffalo Sabres right now. Like, I love that team, but I wouldn't want to leave that opportunity
if the
open.
Buffalo Sabres, they would turn into all third-line centers.
Yeah, I mean, they already kind of are.
Josh Norris, though, like, what is he long-term for these guys? He's got 5 more years left on his deal, 26 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hope is that he ends up, I mean, I think ideal situation, you're so good that you have a really good player playing as your third center. But I think currently Sauce is kind of 2C.
Also from Myrtle, Max Pacioretty leaning towards a return. Love it. I'm not done with the Max Pacioretty Maple Leafs experience. Absolute playoff hero. Also, the Leafs, quote, remain confident they will get Matthew Nyes inked to a reasonable second contract without any offer sheet drama. That would be my guess, but I don't know. Get someone in there. Fuck shit up.
Yeah, I want the Nyes offer sheet drama more than anything else this offseason.
The overreaction / overselling award goes to, who was it that repurposed the Rantanen bit?
Repurposed?
Yeah. Like aggregated?
Was it BR?
BR Open Ice? Okay, yeah. So from Myrtle, the Leafs, Vegas, and Carolina discussed the deal that would send Marner to Vegas and Rantanen to the Leafs, but Vegas and Carolina couldn't figure out what the Hurricanes would get. BR put it out as like, I forget the way they phrased it, but it was juicy enough to hook me in. And then I looked at the details and I was like, but they didn't know what each team would get, so they didn't do it.
Yeah, so it really like wasn't close to being a 3-team trade, apparently. But that's interesting. The most interesting thing to come out of that is that Carolina was involved as like a broker, and then suddenly was like, "Hey, you want to get this third party out of here and just fucking swing this ourselves?" And then ends up with Rantanen, or I guess no, because they would have had Rantanen at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, then they end up just getting Stankoven, and I mean that whole ordeal. I need more information on how it all came to be.
We said before the show, it's hilarious that they were like, trade almost happened, except 2 of the 3 parties involved didn't have anything to do. But like, yeah, what is
Well, so Carolina was involved as the broker. Then they seemingly positioned themselves by cutting out Vegas, positioned themselves to get Marner in a Rantanen swap, because that was what was reported after the deadline.
Leafs were trying to do, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe the 3-team thing broke down, and then it just became Leafs and Carolina.
Yes.
Because something was brought to Marner, and he was asked to waive.
Yes.
So
just kind of seemed like Marner didn't want to leave.
Exactly.
Like, it didn't matter really who. Like ultimately, even if they had the pieces, Marner ultimately would have just
And
said
that,
no.
That to me is the best because I love that he said no to give himself another shot with the Leafs, and I love that it failed miserably.
In fairness, I don't know if he said no to give himself a shot with the Leafs. I think he said no because his wife was about to have a kid.
I mean, I think it could be a little
Yeah,
bit A, a little bit of B. ¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah, I think that.
I like that you haven't learned how to say that.
I know, which is
it-
weird because I spoke Spanish at a point in my life.
It's because it's directly translated.
Porque
because
no los dos.
No, the two.
Yeah, why not the
No
two?
los two? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but
Or what,
Marner
yeah.
did always have a thing of like he wanted to be. I mean, he stayed there. He re-signed there.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made a big fucking
Big
stink
dog
out
and
of
pony
it.
show out of
Yeah.
it.
But I don't know how much of that was honestly his fault versus his camps. But like, I do not question up until this very point in time that Mitch Marner just wanted to be a Toronto Maple Leaf and wanted to win with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think he wants to do that anymore.
I think that rightfully, just things can end. And I
For
think
sure.
that it should end there. But if he stayed, could be a little bit of fun. Sean, can you tell us, can you give me a slate, please? What's
Yeah.
tonight? Oh, we got shit, huh? Monday, June 9th. The Oilers at the Panthers, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can catch that one on TNT. It's game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Panthers at home trying to take a 2-1 series lead while the Oilers on the road trying to take a 2-1 series lead. A team will be ahead by tomorrow. Will we be worried for the other team? Will we be confident in the team that wins? The answer to both questions is probably no.
Probably not.
I will breathe a little easier if Edmonton can get at least one on the road.
Yeah, I mean, especially when like the Achilles heel that was laid out was that Florida is so much worse at home versus on the road. If Florida comes out in game 3, has a little bit of momentum behind their backs and kicks the shit out of the Oilers, don't think that's going to happen, but that really erases that narrative.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, if they kick the shit out of the Oilers on their first game on home ice,
Yeah, it doesn't kill that narrative. They've lost games at home every series. They have at least seemingly if they win tonight, they'll have at least one more home game, but probably 2. So they at some point in every series, they've been bad to very bad at home. Doesn't have to be on the first try, but it's happened. So
yeah, but
maybe.
it'll be very hard to bring that up and have it feel like a strong case after they win emphatically in their first game at home in the Stanley Cup Final.
It's something they would rather do. They should want to win at home, but it's been a boogeyman for them. So we'll see. D Gentleman agrees with everybody that every game in the series is going to overtime anyway. You don't know that? Stu could have a stinker tonight. You just don't know. What other super chats do we have that we have not done? Do we have any, or have we hit them all? Clubber So We Die says, Utah taking Martin at 4 is balls on the table shit. Also, watching with my wife, we will die for Katie. Very good.
Congrats on the wife.
She'll give her the
Katie-
water, or you'll give her the water.
Katie seemed like she wanted to die at points of the conversation. And if not her die, she wanted Sean to die.
Yeah.
Sean, how do you like having a rivalry with Katie?
Awesome. I respect Katie. I think she rocks.
I think that we need to do the Sean DePaz and Katie Nolan show in the offseason. That would be electric. Would tune in for every episode.
Absolutely. What do you think about that, Sean?
I would love to talk to Katie more.
Okay. We'll see what happens. Slate's good. We'll have a watch along tonight. Make sure that you are subscribed everywhere, especially on YouTube, because that is where you can do the watch along for this game, for this very big game 3. It'll go to overtime. It'll be long. So even if we're not tweeting to get you in there, remember, just go to YouTube. What Chaos? You know where to find us. We will be partying throughout the game. Pete, tell the folks what to do.
Amplify, 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 amplify. You can do that in many ways. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are climbing. We are over 16,000. I believe we have over 16,100 at this point. So we are climbing. Please subscribe. Please buy our merch. There's the link in the description below. Please join the Discord. Also link in the description below. That party never stops. You can also like this video. It's the thumbs up button right below the video player. You can leave a comment. You can start a prompt. You can review the show, review the episode in the comments below. If you're on audio, you can give us 5 stars and leave a little blurb. You can tell your friends, you can tell your parents, you can follow us on social media. There's a million different ways to amplify. We appreciate them all. We love you. Thank you so much.
I will say, a lot of Marner talk today, and our subscribers are currently at 16,160. 1616.
Whoa.
All roads lead back to Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner taking 1 times 6?
No,
Where
he's
is
going
he
for
doing that?
He's going
16
6 times
million.
16.
What if the Blackhawks just gave him 1 year times $16 million and was like, come make us a 5th place team, please. Just like get us to 5th place. Do that for me. Turning around that franchise?
Respond to that, to be honest.
Lands him a huge deal in Toronto.
Yeah, but that's a tax state. So he's
oh,
gonna say
true. So
no.
that's really like $4 million that he's getting. If he just signed for $5 million in Florida, then he nets 6. All right. We will talk to you on the stream tonight. We love you. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.